All right. Happy Monday and welcome to the Franchise Empire newsletter. What's up, Kevin?
Good morning. How are you?
Good afternoon officially. Kevin and I are in different time zones.
Yeah, I'm still drinking coffee, so it's morning.
Yeah, I hear that. We got a lot of time zones on the team.
Yeah.
All right, guys. In this newsletter, we got some good stuff today. I'm going to share my screen real quick. So we're going to cover today an existing franchise for sale showing $660,000 in sales, a flooring franchise that shows $460,000 in profit after their disclosed expenses in the FDD. Success story from a client who bought an existing painting franchise. We've covered this before, but I'm sure we have new viewers all the time. So, and then the latest episode of the Franchise Empire Show with an exploding franchise. So excited to dive into those things with you guys. And so quick note before we dive in. So number one, this newsletter goes out at 8:30 a.m. Sunday mornings. So if you want to get this in your inbox so you can read it at your own leisure, you can go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. And so when the email went out, we said, hey, tomorrow, Monday, today is a big day. We've got something exciting. I've been working on this project to help franchise buyers own a money-making franchise for months now. We're ready to release it to the public. Ladies and gentlemen, actually, let me show it real quick. That is our very own Franchise Buyers Academy. So our Franchise Buyers Academy. Oh, Josh swapped out the thumbnail too. That looks dope. All right, I haven't seen it since he did that. Sweet. So our Franchise Buyers Academy, it reveals how 800,000 entrepreneurs are using franchising to make money using blue chip franchises you've never heard of. It's basically the most detailed. It's going to help you understand exactly how to own a franchise and make money with it. I go through the entire process. It's pretty incredible. It's $27. This is for a limited time. We're actually only going to be running this for a week. We've had people go through it, and we surveyed them, and they said they would pay over $200 for it and still feel like they got 10 times their value. So you can go to I'm going to drop it in the comments. It's franchiseempire.com/FBA beta. I guess we can at some point get rid of that beta because it's no longer a beta. But it'll show you what you get access to here on the website. I would highly recommend signing up before we shut it down. And just go check out on the page what it's about. I think you'll be blown away. There's over 4 hours of content in there. It's incredible. But with that said, let's jump into the newsletter and talk about this resale. So what do we got to start out with, Kevin?
Yeah, it's probably not as exciting as the Buyers Academy, but we'll go through it. No, you guys have put in a ton of work on that, so I'm excited to see it go live. But yeah, this resale is from 5 Star Painting. It's a residential and commercial painting franchise. They do both interior and exterior services. So a Neighborly brand. We've talked about Neighborly a lot on here. Big umbrella company that has 20 something home improvement franchises underneath it. So huge company, a lot of benefits being in a Neighborly brand. But this particular one's been franchising since 2007. They're pretty big. They have 230 units throughout the country. And so this resale within 5 Star Painting is in Sarasota, Florida. Asking price is around $315,000. I'm pretty sure this has been on the market a decent amount of time. So, my suspicion would be is that's negotiable, but you never know until you get into conversations. But the 2023 revenue for this was 660,000. So pretty good business there. They've been open since July of 2018. They do both residential and commercial work right now and have 2 employees. So I think Sarasota, I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that area, but it's a very popular, fast growing city. I think that could be a prime market. And this model is really built on using subcontractors to do the actual painting. So I think I noted here lower, in the notes that I'd be curious to know what those employees are doing, if they're like full-time salespeople or what their role is in the business, because I do know most five-star painting owners use subcontractors, which keeps your payroll lower. So, yeah, but according to the FDD, the item 19 shows average job size for their painting projects to be around $4,400. So pretty good size ticket prices. Like I mentioned before, they use subs to do the work. I'd be curious to know what these two employees are doing. And this one, I know you can do it semi-passively. I know Tarek, your opinions on doing, certain franchises semi-passively is, varies, but because they use the subcontractors, I think there is a model where you can kind of have like a general manager that manages like your sales team and or does some of the sales stuff, along with managing the actual projects. So they do allow for semi-passive ownership if that's something you're interested in, but yeah, this one, we like the painting business. We're going to cover a testimonial here in a bit from somebody who bought this particular franchise system. But what are your initial thoughts on this, Tark?
Yeah, you know me, I love resales. Home services is booming overall. I live in Florida. Everything's growing and expanding in Florida. I mean, Sarasota, you're by the water too. It's just, I think it's hard to go wrong with just opening a business in Florida in general. I know that's like a gross generality overall,
Yeah,
but I mean, Neighborly, huge brand, 800-pound gorilla. Um, Definitely, you got to be one where you're willing to follow the system because they have the system pretty tight, right? So, but I mean, that's a pretty solid. I mean, revenues is 660. I mean, it gives you a solid base to run with, I think. And in terms of your comments on being semi absentee, I think it just depends on the person. For someone who's used to managing, running a team, feels really comfortable there, or has even operated a business before, or maybe you're like an intrapreneur with your current like job, and you're used to hiring, you're used to managing, and like delegating, then I think the potentiality to be semi absentee is like you have a higher likelihood of success. I think for folks who are so used to being employees or a little bit more of a thinker mindset, a little bit really analytical, and you haven't like run an operation before, I think those are the folks that need to be like really full time and a little bit more, dedicated overall. But at the end of the day, I don't count anyone out. And I may have my opinions and biases, but at the end of the day, like you can't stop someone who wants to win.
yeah,
No matter what the personality is, no matter what style, like if they're determined to win, they're going to figure out a way to win. So,
yeah. I totally agree with those points. I think it's another point on the semi-passive is I think people like come to us and they think, yeah, you could do semi-passive, but it's like if you don't have true flexibility in your full-time job, then don't even think about it. Like if
mm,
you're in the office 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, not going to happen. Like if you work remote and you have flexible hours, maybe you really like have a pretty, for lack of better words, cake job where you're working 20 hours a week and you can have time, then I would say it's doable. And if you have that experience managing people, the other thing, like Sarasota, I spent 2 months down there recently in that area. You drive around, like the buildings are just beat to shit, with the wind and all the stuff off the coast, the salt
and the
water.
salt,
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's like everything needs a paint job. So like I feel
that's a
like
good point.
there's probably a lot of opportunity for both residential because like it just like your facilities just take a beating.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in Sarasota or around that area and you want to get more details and chat with us around this resale, you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales. You'll be able to set up a brief call with the team. And or if you're not in Sarasota and you're just anywhere in the United States and you want to understand, find out, hey, what if any resales are available in your specific area, then you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales. And I'd hurry up and for those of you who are like interested and want to have calls with the team, because of just all of the newsletters and content that we've been putting up, our calendars are getting more and more slim. It's getting harder and harder to find time. So I would do it sooner than later, because sometimes we're having to push things out a week out, etc. So, and these opportunities aren't going to last long, by the way. Like, territories are selling out. There are some amazing opportunities out there, but once people start getting a hold of it and it starts to spread, like, where you want to be may not, be available any longer. So I would definitely like operate with a sense of urgency for sure. I know that was something Kevin and I have been, talking about. So, quick client case study. So, one of our clients who, oh, look at that, 5-star painting. So he recently bought a 5-star painting franchise, and they're, I guess, well, you tell the story. Actually,
Yeah,
you know it better than I do.
yeah. I mean, it's a well, shoot. I'm going to try to tell a quick story here. So, Emmanuel started working with us, and we went through a process, and he looked at actually a couple other franchises, and he went pretty far down the validation process, but it ended up not being the right fit, which happens sometimes. And so then we kind of went back to the drawing board, and I randomly got connected with an owner of a 5-star painting in Orlando, where he was located, just through a colleague of mine that was wanting to sell his existing business. So this was actually a resale as well, a 5-star painting. And so I got connected with him, introduced him to Emmanuel, started working together, facilitating that discussion. Then he got connected with 5-star painting corporate, went through their process, and ended up buying, 5-star painting for Orlando. And he's just hit the ground running. The reason the existing owner was running, interestingly enough, we were just talking about semi-passive ownership. He had another business he was running full time. He tried to do this semi-passively, wasn't working. He didn't have enough time, so his other business was drawing all his time and energy. So he needed to get out of it. But really great transition from that owner to Emmanuel. And now he's killing it. He's up over 100% year over year with his sales, just because he has dove in full time and is just crushing it. So, did I miss anything there?
No, yeah, that was brilliant. And couple of nuggets there is that sometimes Kevin and the team will go out and find you resales, even when there's not one easily available. So another reason to set up a call ASAP if that's something you're interested in, because the team will go and hunt. There's no promises, but we're going to do our best to support you and find you an opportunity that aligns with your goals. And so that's what Kevin did for Emmanuel. And it was kind of a turnaround, right? I mean, it was the way it was set up because it was being run semi absentee, and it just shows how if you have the ability to go in full time and fully dedicate yourself, the results you can produce are epic. And I Emmanuel's by me, so we met up, and we had coffee. We hung out here at the office. Just a awesome dude, and he told me that his sales were up 100% year over year from the previous owner, and it's because he's full time in the business, hustling, working. So just really cool, really really epic.
Yeah, yeah. He another thing on that one is so when I presented it to Emmanuel, I was like, we need to move quickly on it because they're going to potentially list this on the open market. And so what I appreciated about him was all over it. Like, had a sense of urgency, went through, provided everything they were asking for in terms of financial application, whatever it may be. And he moved and he got a steal on it. I mean, in my opinion, like, he got into it for much less than what it would cost to start a new 5-star painting business. So I think that just goes to show when we say have a sense of urgency, we mean it. It can pay off.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, urgency is key. I just realized I didn't have the branding thing. I had took it off because I was recording something earlier to use, but now you can see our logo, people. All right, so this is the franchise that we listed that shows 460K, I think, in profit after disclosed expenses for one of the higher performing units. So tell us about this brand.
Yeah, Footprints Floors. So it kind of like the name suggests, it's a floor remodeling company. So They do both residential and commercial floor remodels. So like wood, tile, laminate, I think they even do carpet, but they started out of, I think it was the Colorado Springs area in Colorado in 2008. The guy built up like a huge presence in that area and in the Denver area. And then they started franchising in 2013. So they own a huge territory in that area. But then I think they own more. I don't know. Maybe they only own 78 franchise units. Maybe it's more. Maybe that's the number of franchisees and there's more territories. I thought they had a bigger presence than that, but we can double check that. Anyways, so this one, the total investment is between 78,000 and 113,000. So super low investment for the potential return you can have on this business. And the reason it's a lower investment is it's similar to the 5-Star Painting franchise in that you do use subcontractors to do the actual installation. So people that are really, really good in this business are good at sales. Like Footprint
Mm.
Floors does a lot of local marketing for you. They're very good at that and generating leads and getting them booked on your calendar. So they have a call center that will do that. And so if you're a person that just wants to get out and meet with potential customers all day, every day, and manage a sales team and grow it that way, this is a perfect fit for you because that's basically what it is. You meet with customers, you give them a consultation, you help them understand what type of products they should be ordering, and then you sign a contract and collect a deposit, and then manage the actual subcontractors to do the installation. So they also have like relationships with these big box stores, so you can help get like favorable discounts for your customers, and you're going to help direct them on like what products to order and how much. So it actually saves the end customer money because you're not tied into ordering like from a preferred supplier of the franchisor, if that makes sense. So, you're kind of facilitating that ordering process with the customer, and then you're facilitating managing the actual installation. So think of yourself almost like a general contractor for flooring projects. That's probably the best way to think about it. But if you look at the FDD for this one from 2023, we want to scroll down a little bit. Let's see. So this is multi-territory franchise outlets for 2022. So average sales was just under 600,000. And then they have direct gross profit after disclosed expenses. Around 120. I don't know what the percentage is there. They don't really calculate that. So
About 20% or so, a little bit over
yeah,
20.
yeah, so 20, I think that's pretty good for home services. That's where you typically like to be, in my opinion, 15 to 25%, 25% being pretty difficult to obtain. But so this one, again, it's like, low overhead. You can operate this out of your truck. You can start with just doing sales and get as busy as you can until you need to hire another sales rep. And quick ramp up. I like that because it's not a big investment. A lot of that initial investment is your one-time marketing or one-time franchise fee, and then your initial marketing to get all those leads. So, you get leads quickly, you get out there, get some at bats and sales, you close a couple deals, you get some big projects under your belt, and you can start cash flowing a little bit quicker than, some other home services franchises. But yeah, I kind of touched on all that. I did know the owner of the one where I live, and he recently sold it last year because he was moving, and he had only been in business for like 3 years. That was like his third year, and he sold it for a pretty good asking price. And it was just him doing the sales. He didn't even have
Oh,
anybody
wow.
on the team. Yeah. And so he had really good relationships with local flooring companies in the city that he would get referrals from. And then, he was just really good at sales. He could meet with customers. He had big commercial contracts as well. So it is something you can build up and sell based on that one individual experience that I've seen.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, and just how transparent they are on well, okay, it's not some FTDs will show all of the locations, but I mean it shows a pretty good sense of what the opportunity is overall in terms of the quartile, and Even being in the second or third quartile in terms of what the median looks like, what the high performers are. So you're talking, all right, if you're in the second quartile, the average is 595 in sales. And highest performing location does 1.88 million, that's the one that shows the 460,000 in the direct gross profits, whatever the hell that term means. I've never even heard that term, direct gross profits, after disclosed expenses. But it looks like they pretty much list what all the expenses would be outside of just the expenses that people throw and write off into their business that are kind of specific to them.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, y'all. So if you want to see if this franchise is still available, if your territory is still available here, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory, and you'll be able to do a free territory check with our team, or just to see what franchises are available in your area that may align with your goals. Last but not least, the latest episode of the Franchise Empire Show, How to Make Millions with Soap and Water. I sat down with Aaron Harper, CEO of Rolling Suds. Very interesting franchise. And we had just a good conversation about responsible franchising, which is an interesting phrase. But this was definitely a more of an easy, laid back kind of conversation. And just hearing what it's taken for him to grow the franchise brand and like the amount of time he works and how involved he is, it's pretty cool. That's one of the reasons I love talking to founders of brands, of just hearing like how much they're hustling to grow it and build it. I enjoy that. But you can check out the Franchise Empire Show YouTube channel to watch that, or find us on any podcast platform. Let's see. It looks like we had a couple of questions here. Howard, awesome. Nice to connect with you, man. It sounds like you're saying you're jumping head first into a different business. Hi, gents. Glad to see you. I have no idea who it is because it just shows up as Facebook user. And then let's see. Fat Donnie said, "What is direct gross profit?" I get what they were trying to do, but they made up an accounting term. They definitely did. That's what I'm saying. I have no idea what that means.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you got us both. That would be something to figure out in franchisee validation. Calling them up like, "Hey, what's your direct gross profit?" Or just like, "What's your profit?" So cool. All right, guys. Well, check out the Franchise Buyers Academy. It'll be available for a limited time only. Your mind will be blown. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee on it as well. The link is in the comments below, franchiseempire.com/FBA beta. Kevin, thanks as always, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.